Hello, everyone. Jake here from Monsters and Munchkins, and today we are going off the page.
Yeah. This is something I
Hang on.
kind of
Now we're
have.
back.
Oh,
No, that's fine.
oh,
This isn't live, so I can edit that, but that was good, so I'm leaving that in.
oh.
Um,
Um,
Guys, this is a new thing that we're doing. This was Nate's idea, so I'm going to let him talk about what exactly this is.
yeah. I out of boredom, like for a month, I created a bunch of dumb well, not animated, more like
Anime.
slideshow kind
We're
of
doing all
things.
anime.
No, not this time at least. Like I'm not that good at drawing. Um, but I create these things similar to create characters from Magic the Gathering, legendary creatures, mundane creatures into D&D characters themselves because stuff like the plane shifts and Ravnica Theros are a thing within D&D themselves, and it's just like, why not pass the time, do whatever? I wasn't doing anything at the moment. Um, so and eventually, with way too much time in between, I'll be honest, I pitched the idea to Jake,
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago.
who,
And I
yeah,
thought this was a really cool idea. And then I got the idea, like, why not just do it for all the stuff that we love, not just magic?
right,
Like, we like a lot of stuff. We're nerds about a lot of things. So we're going to make a lot of characters for a lot of different things. And we're going to be doing two very different characters today. The links will be in the description down below. So if you, the timestamps will be down below. So if you want to, like, skip to one, you can go ahead and skip to one. Nate, what character are you doing today?
I am doing. I hope I pronounce his name right. His name from Magic the Gathering. He is Archelos, Archelos, or however you decide to pronounce it. Archelos Lagoon Mystic, a turtlefolk shaman from nowhere in particular. It does not say.
He's just a dude that shows up.
Yeah, he's just a dude.
And I am doing something extremely, extremely, extremely different from that. I am going to be doing one of this was requested by Cody, my brother, one of his favorite action heroes, and I like him too. John Wick, the jumping around gunman from those action movies with very little plot line, so it was very easy to make him into a character. Uh,
Haha.
exactly, haha. As you can see on the screen before I go any further, we are doing live streams. The background we're using today is for our Icewind Dale live stream, which is every Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also play Call of Cthulhu every Wednesday from 8 to 10 ish Eastern Standard Time. It's a ton of fun. Both campaigns are going great. I think we're about halfway through on both of them, so you should come and check them out. These are both pretty good hopping on points. In Icewind Dale, we just got to Grimskull, the Castle of Oral, and in Call of Cthulhu, they're making things go horribly, horribly wrong for themselves. Mostly by casting spells that they're not ready for through one particular character. So yeah, what could possibly go wrong?
I
And
mean,
it's going
mass
to be
arson and murder is also
yeah.
pretty
I
bad.
mean, you've racked up quite the quite the
The
bill at
kill
this
count.
point. Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah,
happens. It happens. You know,
I'm
there's not much you can
not
do
happy
about
with
that.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's go ahead and if I've done this correctly, I should be able to click on this other window. Yes, aha, and we have an auto-calculating character sheet. So let's go ahead and we're going to start off with Nate's character. Nate, how do you
Oh,
spell your
cool.
character's name?
Archelos. Archelos.
Archelos. Gotcha.
Yes, and he is the Lagoon Mystic.
Lagoon Mystic. Cool.
Yep.
What's his alignment,
So
do you think?
his alignment, um, the colors this guy is associated with is he is a three-colored multi-character. He's cost four, and he is black, green, and blue.
Hmm.
That can honestly mean a lot of things.
Hmm.
Like if we
Yeah.
look at like other two-colored, um, I want what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
People. If we look at other
Other two.
people
Mm-hmm.
with two of those colors, you can see the Golgari really like death and the Simic really like growth, but he's kind of in that weird middle state, which is probably why he's three colors. If I was to assume chaotic neutral or true neutral.
True neutral. All right. True neutral. We're not doing multi classes yet. But what's his starting class going to be?
His starting class is as he is described as being a turtle shaman, he will be a druid first and foremost.
Druid, cool. And what level are we taking Druid till?
Um, I've only worked up to level 2, which is really all we need to get the first part, as in
Gotcha.
his small bio, there isn't a lot on this character, unfortunately. Like, this isn't
Hmm.
some major plot point dude, but he's described as a person who's lived a very long time. He does not own his own name, and he just kind of sits around and lets his magic kind of leave, which tends to slow everyone else around.
Okay.
But he lives in a marsh, so he needs to be a swamp druid by name alone, pretty
And when
much.
do Druids get to pick their subclass?
At level 2.
Oh, do they really? Okay, so he's going to be Druid, level 2. He'll be a Swamp Druid.
Yeah.
We'll get along with
I
that.
did consider Arctic Druid and
Yes.
just go to town on that because they um, get a certain spell that I will heavily lean into later for the build, but you know,
Yes.
he needs to be a swamp druid.
So I do have the Tortle. Let me just make sure it's sharing the screen correctly. It mostly is. I do have the Tortle information pulled
Do
up
I see
on the
this
screen.
at
No,
all?
sorry.
Or
I,
okay,
don't-
okay, cool.
that would have to be something I would work out in advance, and I did not do that. Next time you'll be able to see what I'm doing.
Perfect.
But anyway, so I have the Tortle information pulled up. Well, let's start off with we're doing point buy for this, just because if you want to play one of these characters, we can't assume that your dungeon master is going to let you roll for stats, but everybody uses point buy or standard array, with
Yeah,
point buy being the better one.
I do
So,
have I do have a standard array
I
one
mean,
here,
standard
but
array
we
is
want to
fine.
focus
No, yeah,
on yeah, but we want to focus on intelligence and wisdom.
intelligence and wisdom.
You know,
Okay,
yeah.
so wisdom's going to be what?
Yeah, if anything, we should put one more point into intelligence, or at least make wisdom odd, because totals do get a +1 to wisdom.
Right. So I can pull up.
What's the max you can do for
Point
point
buy
buy?
max is 15.
15. Okay, so
I can pull it up on my phone.
we're not relying heavily on our uh, druid spells at the moment, at least. So you can go ahead and put a 15 for intelligence and
15 for
uh,
intelligence.
15 for intelligence.
14 for wisdom?
And we can do a 13 for wisdom because he gets that +1. Or I guess we should do well, yeah, 14 for wisdom, just so they end up evening out in the end.
Okay. And then what about the rest of our ability scores?
Um, because he's a turtle, he doesn't actually need dex, and he's not exactly the fastest moving creature ever.
Okay.
So, um, don't dump dex. Maybe make it a 12. I'm sure we'll have enough points for that in the end.
Yeah, let's see. So if we're doing a 14 for wisdom and a 15 for intelligence, we're not going to completely dump dex, so we do need some constitution because everybody needs
We do need some constitution. That should be third.
So let's do 14 for con.
Okay. We can dump charisma. He is in the small blurb.
Okay. So we'll do an 8 for charisma.
Yeah. His magic just slows him down to his pace. He's obviously not very quick, so even if you ask a yes or no answer, it's going to be an hour before he even answers.
With his racial ability scores, he gets a +2 to strength. So does 10 strength sound like enough? Because if you put in an 8 and then it goes to a 10. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll put in 8. That'll go to a 10.
10 in for my strength on my
okay, cool.
standard array
Which
thing.
will let us actually take our wisdom up to 15.
Right. Yeah.
And then that'll be all 27 points spent. So wisdom will go up to 15, and then it's actually going to go to 16 for racial stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then strength is going to go to 10 because he's a turtle. And we're not using the rules out of Tasha's because I don't like those. So this is where we're at with
Not
him so far.
everyone needs them.
Not everyone needs them, no. And I think that looks pretty good. So we've got 10 in strength, 10 in dex, 14 in con, 15 in intelligence, 16 in wisdom, and 8 in charisma. So because he's a turtle, he gets that special turtle thing where his AC, he gets shell defense. So natural armor. So he gets an AC of 17.
His AC is
which is pretty nice. So his AC is going to be 17.
Yeah.
Do druids get a shield?
druids do get a shield, so
So
his starting AC will be 19.
that is spicy.
Oh yeah. It's a
So
shame
there we
that
go.
since Turtle Shell isn't considered armor, that you can't do fighter and just have 20 right off the bat.
Yeah, that'd be not okay.
Yeah,
Um,
you're right.
yeah, there's a reason for these things, Nate, and that's
I am
because
aware.
that
I'm
would
saying it's a
be
shame.
not okay, and you should feel bad about
Oh.
what you've done. All right, so we have Druid level 2 picked out. So let's just jump over to Druid real fast, see what we get.
Yeah.
So his starting hit points, we'll just start with 8 because you
Yep.
take your max at first level. So his starting hit points are going to be 10, right?
Excellent.
Because he has a +2 for Constitution. So his starting hit points are, where are hit points? I've lost my hit points. Health. His maximum HP, we're going to do 10, and then we'll take the average for the next level. So that is going to be a 5 + 2, 17. So he currently has 17 hit points because we've only gotten to level 2. So he currently has 17 HP. His hit die, he has 2d8. Because he's a druid. And turtles have a speed of 30 or 25?
Turtles have a speed of 30.
30. Nice.
They're not actually still creatures.
Interesting. Well, I mean, I guess.
I mean, they're still as tall as any other person, so makes sense.
And he's got the survival instinct and the claws and all that stuff. Yeah, that does make sense. Okay. So, where is spell sheet?
Right.
Spell casting ability. It's obviously
So,
wisdom because he is.
I suppose, I guess level 2, at Swamp, just by choosing Swamp, you just get the Druid equivalent to Arcane Recovery, which I forget the name of.
Right. So let's jump over to
but you're not
Druid
going to be
here.
relying on that too much. You're just a Swamp Druid by name.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have Wild Shape. Is he a character that's going to use Wild Shape a lot or not?
He would most likely just use it to chill. He's not exactly going to be a true combative person.
Okay.
But he'd most likely use it just to create a small friend for an hour and just continue doing that. Have the critter out for an hour, sit down with him, just continue to take that short rest. Just continue doing that for forever.
Gotcha. So we don't get the swamp specific spells yet at 3rd level, because those are, you get those when you reach level 3, which is Darkness and Melf's Acid Arrow. So what spells are we taking for 1st level? And 2nd
first level, well,
yeah.
So he doesn't have to choose in particular.
Oh, right, because he's a prepared, right? Druid, smart.
Yeah.
I forgot. I've been
that
playing
doesn't
Bard.
really matter. But
So,
if I was to choose,
like on a standard day, what does Archelos take for his spells?
Archelos, yeah. Let's see. I guess I'll throw in 1st level. All right. Charm. So as his considerable amount of magic kind of just puts people, it slows people to his pace. So it's only really that. So he wouldn't. So and due to him only having 2 power in general, he's not physically great either. I would say animal friendship to work on animals and charm person at least, along with good berry, because giving people stuff is very nice.
All right.
And if he did so happen to need to protect himself, Ice Knife and Thunder Wave are very good options for that. To consider also doesn't no Ice Knife just explodes, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an explosion.
Yeah. Yeah, there isn't really anything here to debuff someone to that great effect.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but no, he's just chilling out. He has a tortoise in the hare thing with another legendary creature who's I have his page right here still. Yeah, he's just not very friendly with a very particular hare.
All right, so we've gotten to level 2. So after level 2, what are we doing?
We are going to hit the books. I'm pretty sure he can't read or read well, but I'm sure he remembers everything.
So we're multi-classing?
We are multi-classing
Okay, we're multi-classing wizard,
into
right?
wizard.
Okay, I was listening before. How many levels are we gonna take in wizard for this dip? Like
Um,
at this point in time.
I at this point in time, we only really need 5.
5. So let's
To,
just put
did
that
I
in.
do that right? Oh no,
No,
sorry. 9.
9. But how many are
Yeah.
we going to take? Like if we were actually playing this character in a campaign, would you do druid 2 and then dip it into wizard?
I
Right.
might.
Or would you take like druid to 5 or druid to
I
3?
might go to druid for. I might finish off to level 4 just to get the ability score improvement first for it. So at least level 4 druid will be the end cap. Maybe 5 to get some of
Third
the
level spells?
third level spells. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
kind of
level 5
thinking is
for
usually
yeah.
it's usually the more fun way to multi-class stuff if you get to 5 in whatever your starting class is, because this way at least you
Yeah.
feel kind of on pace with everything else. Okay. So we
Right.
get to
So
druid
yeah,
level
go to level
5.
5.
So so what's are interesting? So obviously we get the we'll just go over here.
We get the signature spells of the swamp domain.
Yeah, so we
Not
get
domain, spell land.
yeah,
Swamp
so
land.
we get the druid, we get darkness and Melf's acid arrow,
Mm-hmm.
which I'll just come. Um, those are always up. And then
At 5th level, right, 4th level first for that
yeah,
sweet
ability score
ability
improvement
improvement. So currently, his wisdom
is
is
even.
16,
Yep.
if I heard right.
Yep.
16, and his intelligence is 15.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and take Keen Mind. I'm sure, like he may not remember his own age, but I'm
All
sure
right.
he'll remember a bunch of passing conversations.
So I'll just check that under passive ability. And I'll put the exact description of this before I upload it. But basically, it's just remember a bunch of stuff, and you'll have the actual description of Keen Mind when I upload this. All right. So
Right.
he's taking Keen Mind. Cool.
Yep.
All right.
Like, or well, let
That
me go
makes
through
sense to
the
me.
other. Yeah, let me go through the other intelligence boosting ones quick. Like,
No, I think Keen Mind's probably
uh,
the best one because there's not a lot there for
yeah.
intelligence feats.
I mean, and observant also increases when their
You
intelligence,
could
right?
do, yeah,
Yeah, observant, keen mind, whatever you really
yeah,
need
that
at the
general
moment.
idea.
Yeah,
Um,
just
all right,
take something that gives you a +1 to intelligence, just to reach that capstone for when we start multi-classing into wizard.
right. So now we've hit Druid 5, and now we'll dip into
Yep.
Wizard. How many levels we want to dip into
Yes.
Wizard to
So
start
we
with?
get those big spells. We're going to
Yeah,
9.
we're going right to 9. Okay, so hang on, real fast. What like third level spells are like the ones that he would probably be taking for Druid?
Druid third level spells. I should have thought
Um,
about this beforehand. Um, for third level druid spells, this guy requires some conjure animals for company.
makes sense.
Dispel magic because, well, if someone can get into out of your thing, then that's their problem. Speak to plants. He's like he may not do. He just spends the time meditating. Um, Speak of pants, sleep store. Let's see.
Yeah, I think those are probably good.
Yeah, and daylight. Well, no, not
Daylight,
daylight. That's not really
not daylight.
like
Okay,
yeah, not daylight
not daylight. All right,
because he is definitely not a white aligned person.
makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right, so now Wizard. So you want to dip 9 into Wizard right away?
That's the end goal at least.
Yeah.
That's the end goal at least.
But
Get all those.
yeah,
Yeah.
character
But
progression wise, what are you thinking right now? Like if you were playing this character in a campaign and you're like, all right, I gotta go like this many levels and I want to multi-class into Wizard, would you just put the next 9 levels into Wizard, or would you do like 3 or 5 or?
I mean, there isn't really anything else I want to multi-class into, and now that we have the ability score improvement from um,
Mhm.
Druid, there isn't really anything in Druid to look forward to, except for maybe a couple of short rest things. Like we're level 5 right now, so we can't get. Yeah, let's go one more level in Druid just so we can get a third level spell back should we need it.
Gotcha. So now
With
we're gonna
the
Druid 6.
yeah, we're gonna do like I'm just maybe not at this moment, but eventually we'd want to get that 6th level in Druid so we can have that take half thing.
Okay. But now
'cause-
let's dip into wizard, I guess.
yeah.
All right,
All right.
so let's
So.
just start off with the first 3 levels because wizard gives us a lot of stuff. So
Oh yeah.
dipping 3 levels into wizard. As a wizard, so you get your spell casting, you get cantrips, you get your spell book. We do need to
Yes.
go back and pick cantrips for everything, too,
Okay.
because those are important. So
Right.
spell casting
Okay.
abilities, your intelligence. Um, so what school are we going for?
At level 2, he will go enchantment. As the first thing you can do as an enchantment wizard is have a creature nearby you just kind of stop for a minute.
Yeah, because you get hypnotic gaze,
Yep.
which is
And
important.
as for the first things in his spell book, shield, hideous laughter, ray of sickness, magic missile, caustic brew, and false life
Okay, so let's do
would be
wizard
my choices.
spells. So go back. So shield, magic missile.
Yes. Yep. Hideous laughter, ray of sickness, and did I not take charm? No, charm person's a first level spell. I'm being weird.
Yes.
Yeah. Um. Huh. I forgot to put that on there entirely. Yeah. Let's ditch false life and put charm person in there.
We already took charm person under druid.
Oh, you're right.
We don't need that twice. We can do false life.
I mean, would you be able to apply the later twin cast enchantment thing
Yeah, it's
with
not.
your druid
It's
spells?
not. It's not specific to wizard. I
Nice,
believe.
nice. Because I know with
Split enchantment.
I know with warlock you can like interchange
Yeah,
them, but you
it's
can't do
not.
that with any other. Yeah.
It's not specific to wizard. Just like you can smite off of your wizard spell slots, so that works just fine.
Nice.
Cool. All right, so we've got the foundations laid down there for wizard. Went to level 3.
Yes.
I think we might as well just take that next level in wizard.
Yep.
Go to wizard 4 now.
Yes.
All right, so we're level 10. We're in a pretty good spot. So we have 2 16s. One of these, what do we want to do? Because 2 16s is kind of awkward.
It is.
We can just do a +2 to wisdom.
We're not really doing a lot with our wisdom, like
Spells.
as much as
Yeah.
that's where our +2 to wisdom. Let me see what I put
We can
down.
do +2 to wisdom or
Something-
+2 to intelligence. I don't think there's too
Right.
much else that's interesting.
I forgot to put something down. Darn. Okay, no, I messed up during my note taking earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, intelligence or wisdom or, well, actually, there's no or. +2 to intelligence or wisdom, whatever you're
Yeah.
best at using at the
Well,
moment.
I
Raise
mean-
the DC for either.
Let's just do +2 intelligence tentatively for now.
Sounds good. More wizard spells to put down.
Yep. So now wizard 6, all that's going to let you do is grab some 3rd level spells. Wizard 5, you're going to get some 3rd level spell slots.
Oh yeah.
So what are our 3rd level wizard spells you thinking?
They will be slow and hypnotic pattern.
Nice choices. I love those spells. Like, oh
Yeah.
god. Like, guys, if you're not using hypnotic pattern, you should be using hypnotic pattern because
Right.
they're just so
For the-
so good.
For the same reason as the only thing we really know about the guy is that he puts out power in the swamp he lives in, and people who kind of take to this magic are slowed down.
Yeah.
So-
So now we're gonna go to wizard 6.
Oh yeah.
Wizard 6 in enchantment is going to get instinctive charm. So when you see a creature within 30 feet of you that makes an attack roll against you, you can use your reaction to divert the attack, provided that another creature is within the attack's range. The attacker must make a wisdom save. On a failed save, the attacker must target the creature that is closest to it, not including yourself. If multiple creatures are closest, the attacker chooses which one to target. Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
For this guy, let's go ahead and drop it under his passive abilities. Yep. So we got instinctive charm.
Mhm.
Now, more wizard stuff. So wizard level 7. That's going to get us
Yes.
4th level spells.
Yes.
Um,
And turning things into other things is a very blue thing to do. So of course we're gonna waste no time and grab polymorph along with
nice.
confusion.
Polymorph confusion.
as looking through the 4th level spells, I couldn't really see anything else that completely immobilized something. But
Yeah.
next level we will take Charm Monster, just to make sure that
When we get to level 9, right? Or
Charm
level?
Monster
Is that a
I
fourth
have to
level?
put yes. So
Okay.
we'd grab that at level 8, just to
Cool.
put it out there to
And
say.
then we'll do Charm Monster. All right. That's coming along nicely. So level 8, ability score improvement. Do we get our intelligence to 20 or wisdom to 18?
Uh, Wisdom to 18.
Okay, yeah, that's
Wisdom to 18. Like
kind of what I was
we're
thinking.
yeah, we're not. We may not be using both super raw often, but we still need both.
We do need both. Druid's proficient saving throw. Sorry, I'm blanking. Is it wisdom intelligence or wisdom charisma? Or we'll do that later.
Wisdom intelligence,
Wisdom
because it doesn't look
intelligence,
like I
right?
got anything from multiclassing on my
No, you don't get anything from
item over
multiclassing
here.
into wizard.
Right.
Okay, cool. So then we get to wizard level 9, which gets us
Mhm.
5th level spells.
Yes. And we will take dominate person and hold monster, as there is again no big way to shut down people. That's the wrong page.
Critical
As
monster.
again, there's no real big way to not damagely shut down a person.
Yeah, no,
Like
that makes a lot of
as
sense.
much as this guy, yeah.
I can actually make this a little bit cleaner to look at. Cut. There we go. All right, cool. All right, so that gets us to wizard, and then we get to wizard 10. So we get split enchantment.
Yes, which is where like um sorry, I've completely lost thought for some reason. Oh boy.
So split enchantment,
Yeah,
basically
no,
you
this
get
is
to
way too
pick
much fun.
you get to
Yeah,
pick 2 different creatures and target them with the same spell. It's kind of
right.
like twin spell for sorcerers, but specific to your enchantment spells. Which is really really cool, and you can do a lot of
Mm.
cool stuff with enchantment spells.
Note to self
Um,
that I thought about but then forgot about, if we do using one of those ability score improvements to grab that metamagic adept thing, to grab the
a twin spell.
metamagic option. Yes, twin spell,
Okay.
which might help. Well, no, there's not really like slow upcasts to deal with multiple people, and yeah, that just depend on if you run out of 3rd level spell slots, I guess.
Yeah. No, I can see either
Or do
one.
you get to target an
Um,
additional person if you use
no.
slow at 3rd?
If
No?
you
Okay.
no, because this metamagic twin spell is very specific that it can't have the ability to target multiple people. So as soon as you would cast it at 3rd level, you just wouldn't be able to twin spell it.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
it's the same reason why you can't twin spell Eldritch Blast, because it can target multiple people,
Right.
but you can
Yeah.
quicken spell Eldritch Blast.
Right.
All right, cool. So we've gotten
Okay.
this far with it.
Let me double check the like I didn't get this far. Let me double check 6th level spells just to see if there's
Yeah, because then we
anything I
get to
really want
level
from there.
11. Level
Yeah.
11. So we're level 17 at this point. We get proficiency score increase.
17.
Yeah, with 6 levels of druid, 11 level wizard,
Oh, yes, of course.
which actually means that we're going to have super high level spell slots at this point because you get to add your caster levels together. So even though we're only able to cast at this point 6th level spells, we have 9th level spell slots.
Right. Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, because you add your total caster levels together. So even though you're only able to cast 6th level spells with like what you actually know from wizard, you are a ninth level caster still. So
As in you
you
can cast
ninth level
spells
spell
at 9th
slots.
level.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. You learn something new every day. So, we of course grab Mass Suggestion and
Yes.
Otto's Irresistible Dance.
Ooh.
Because, um, they, yeah,
I'm not gonna be able to spell
they're,
any of
they're
this
not
right.
allowed to move. They're not allowed to move, so I can just imagine our Archelos just cast like sitting in his dumb swamp, seeing someone pull up with malicious intent, and him be like, "No, sit down a minute." But um, they just stand there dancing. He's like, "Yeah, that's about right."
So then we jump over to Wizard 12, which gets us another ability score improvement. What do we want to do with this
Right.
one? Do we want to just get our intelligence to 20?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
like
let's
this guy's wise, but if you're around for that long, you gotta be smart in some regard.
just get our intelligence to 20. So
Yeah.
we get that nice difficult save for
Mm-hmm.
our spell save DC. And then we go to level 13. What about 7th level spells?
7th level spells. Oh boy. So we are at that point.
Yeah. Um,
Mirage Arcane.
yeah.
No. Oh, reverse gravity the thing.
Yeah.
Simulacrum. Grab Simulacrum just to talk with himself. That'd be great.
I mean, why not? It's a good spell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll throw
Yeah.
Simulacrum on there.
Simulacrum. Dream of the Blue Veil. Why not? Let's grab that.
It's called, the full name is Dream of the Blue Veil.
Or at least that's the D&D Beyond version that's right here,
Cool.
because
Yeah.
they sometimes
All
have
right.
both.
And that's it. That's not it. We get one more ability score improvement when we hit level 20.
Right.
What do we want to do for the last one? Wisdom to 20, or do we want to take a feat?
Yeah, let's go ahead and take some sort of magic-based feat.
We can do the Warlock Invocation one from Tasha's. We can do the Meta Magic one from Tasha's.
Ooh, so many good options.
The Warlock one's kind of interesting for this build.
Yeah, is there anything there we would really want, however? Like, that's my question. Like, as much as the Warlock invocations are many and great, there really isn't anything that would complement this guy.
Is there a level restriction on that? Like,
which one?
like I think if it says like you need to be Warlock level 15, you still need to be Warlock level 15 before you can grab the feat, unfortunately.
Yeah, if it has a prerequisite, you're just not allowed to take it.
Right.
With this thing. Yeah. Nothing in Tasha's that I can see. Although maybe Eldritch Mind, like having advantage on those.
That's
because...
good. We could also just take Warcaster.
True.
But you're level 20. I mean, if you've not taken Warcaster yet, you're probably not taking it now.
Right.
If anything, you would have taken it at an earlier level.
You're right.
Gaze of Two Minds is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of those really jump out at me. So level 20, whatever you really want to do, your ability scores, if you get that far, is entirely
if anything, up in Constitution, because he's just had that
True.
+2 this entire time.
So
up
why
in
not make it a 16?
Always good.
Yeah. And then I'll just fill out the average HP when we're done here. What do you think for proficiencies on this guy?
Oh, proficiency? That's one thing I do have. Proficiency for skills. He gets survival from Tortle. This guy would be a hermit because
that makes
as much as he is bothered by a particular hair, I'm sure he doesn't see a whole lot of people. So hermit for medicine and religion, and then for class, insight and perception, because wisdom skills.
Insight, so perception and medicine?
Medicine, religion, insight, perception.
Medicine, religion, insight, perception, and he gets survival. Gotcha. Cool.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense. So that's a pretty complete character. And there you go. If you want to build Archelos and you want to do a druid wizard multiclass, that's the way you do it. So let's go completely in the other direction. And Nate, have you watched John Wick?
I've seen a few of the movies. I'm not an avid movie goer of many kind, but
fair enough.
I am aware of this man.
We are aware of
this
absolute legend of a man. So we're doing John Wick. John Wick is he's like the epitome of an action star. He jumps around, he punches stuff, he's got all the guns, he kills people with pencils. So there's a lot. So the reasons are, originally when I was trying to build this build, I was thinking we start fighter. My problem with starting fighter is that John Wick is clearly a monk. because he's not very strong. Like, he's not like a super strong guy. He jumps around a lot, and he spends a lot of time punching people with his fists. And I really wanted to do the fighter with the unarmed fighting style, but then the problem is we need to use strength, and all the ranged weapons in Dungeons and Dragons are dex, and he's also really good with a gun. So we can't do fighter really. So we're gonna do Kinsei.
Yeah.
We're gonna do Kinsei monk. Because
So that's 3 levels for monk.
yeah, well, we're gonna go to start this build off. So let's just go and grab
Mhm.
like the low level monk stuff. So low level monk stuff, unarmored defense, because John Wick doesn't really wear armor. He wears that suit a lot. So
It's a very nice suit.
it's a very nice suit. So unarmored defense makes a lot of sense for this man. And then you get martial arts.
Which gives you a progressing die to beat stuff with.
Exactly. Which is important for this build, because we're not going to max our martial arts die in this build, but we're going to take it pretty far. Then you're going to take your second level in monk, which is going to give you key points, which is important because John Wick like gets away from people a lot, and he runs around, and he jumps, and he's definitely has used flurry of blows a bunch of times.
Oh yeah.
So we get key. And then we're also going to get unarmored movement, and John Wick is fast. Like, he gets away from stuff a lot. So we're definitely, that's an important part of this build as well. Where'd it go? There we go. And definitely like the 9th level things like run up walls. He's 100% done that in the movies. And we are going to use the thing from Tasha's, where we're going to take dedicated weapon. And in this particular case, you train yourself to use a variety of weapons as monk weapons, not just simple melee weapons and short swords. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can touch one weapon, focus your key point on it. The weapon must be a simple or martial weapon. You must be proficient with it, and it must lack the heavy and special properties. So we're going to take dedicated weapon.
Unfortunately, you can't just what's the mental image I'm trying to think of here? Spin around a halberd like a
No, you can't just spin around a
lightsaber.
halberd randomly. No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But for John Wick's special weapon, we're going to do pencil. I can't actually write that in. But his special weapon will be pencil. It could also pencil. I'm going to put pencil/book.
Right.
As his special weapon.
Which any Kensei weapon gets to use your martial art die instead of its own.
Exactly. Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense. Oh, hang on. I completely skipped over ability scores, which is really important.
Yes.
It's really, really important. So we are obviously, let's go back to the beginning. I got very excited about this build very quickly.
No, this is...
I just kind of went off the deep end. So we are going to be variant human.
Right.
Because we want that feat at first level.
Right.
Variant human, background, urban bounty hunter.
You're not getting away from him.
No, oh, actually, you know what? We're going to do spy for the contact. Because Winston is literally
the best.
His contact. And alignment, I went back and forth on this a lot, but I'm just going to go with neutral good, because I think that is what he is.
All right.
Yeah, and for ability scores, I did point by for John Wick.
Right.
So the way we started this point by is we put a let me go back over to point by, clear this out. So we're going to put a 15 in dexterity. A 15 in wisdom.
Actually, I should be making this along just so we have the true mental image.
We're going to do a 16 in constitution. A 14 in constitution, sorry. We don't quite get all those points. We're going to put a 10 in intelligence because John is fairly smart. He is not charismatic, so an 8 in charisma.
Yeah. And
unfortunately, I would really like to put more strength in this build, but point by just doesn't allow it. So his strength is going to be an 8 as well. That's going to be our starting rate, and then obviously for variant human, we're going to put a 16 into dexterity, and we're going to make our wisdom a 16 as well. And being we are monk, that is going to make our starting AC if I can speak, it's going to make our starting AC a 16.
Excellent. A far cry from Archelos, but we'll get there.
We'll get
We'll get
there.
there.
The
You'll get
app,
there.
what I'm using is currently yelling at me.
Oh.
There we go, 16. Um, so that's where we're at with John Wick so far. So for skills, you are going to wind up with, um, if it'll let me load. No, wait. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Um, so for skill proficiencies, you are going to take acrobatics to do all of your flips.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to take stealth to get behind all the people you want to get the drop on. And then you are going to take insight. And then between background and class, there wasn't really one that like jumped out at me, but he knows random bits of information, so I gave
Right.
him history.
Yeah.
So that's what you're going to do for starting skills. And then we need to talk about starting equipment. Well, just equipment in general, because I also am. He definitely. So we're not going to use guns in this build because guns are kind of
Right.
clunky, and I don't want to mess with that. So we're going to give him
Yeah,
hand.
that's too many feats to dedicate
It's
to.
yeah, especially in a multi-class. This is heavily multi-class. So hand
Yeah.
crossbows, heavy crossbows. He has a heavy crossbow, hand crossbows, and we're going to go ahead and give him a longsword.
Hmm.
For his weapons. Because when you get to level 3 in Monk, you get, let me jump over here, a monastic tradition. So we're going to do Kinsei, because he is a trained killer, and he's super good with all the weapons. So Kinsei weapons, so you choose 2 Kinsei weapons. He is going to choose, we can't do heavy crossbow. This was actually pointed out to me yesterday. So we can't
Right.
do heavy
Yeah,
crossbow.
I was going to say something about that, but I just thought we weren't going to use them.
No, you're right. Longbow.
Longbow.
And our feat for being variant human is going to be, we're going to start with Crossbow Expert.
Crossbow Expert.
Just
Makes sense.
because there's been a lot of times in the movies, even if we're not going for that bonus action attack with the crossbow, because we're going to be using our flurry of blows a lot, we can even do a light crossbow, I guess. But wait, can we do a light crossbow? Can monk weapons can they be two-handed for Kinsei?
Yes, because this doesn't have
Kinsei,
special
right.
or loading.
Yeah.
No, it's heavier special.
Heavier special. So we can
Yeah.
do light. We'll do light crossbow instead of hand crossbow.
Yeah.
Just so, because there's been a lot of times in the movies where he's like whipped a pistol out and shot somebody in the stomach. So we are going to go and give him.
So we're not taking Gunner because of the bonus action attack?
We're not taking Gunner because of the shooting in combat without disadvantage.
Gotcha.
Because that's important for this build.
Yeah, it's I understand the difference. It's just
yeah. No, Gunner. So like
pointing out.
Yeah. So like if you roll this character and you roll super well for your starting stats and you don't need all the ability score improvements like we do,
right?
You can take Gunner, but we need all the ability score improvements.
Yeah.
And Gunner just doesn't fit. I tried really hard to make it fit. The other option was to do the Matt Mercer gunslinger thing, but I also didn't want to use Homebrew for this.
Right.
Even though I don't have a problem with Homebrew. I just want this to be official content for the most part. So that's what we get up to level 3. Level 4, we're going to take an ability score improvement, and we're just going to throw a +2 into our dexterity. So that'll get our dex to an 18, not 168, 18. Which will take our AC to a 17. Which is pretty good, especially considering the Kinsei features, which we'll talk about now.
Oh, yes.
So in addition to being able to choose 2 different types of creature, 2 different weapons, and getting proficiency with those weapons, and then you can just add more weapons later on. You get Agile Parry, which is if you make an unarmed strike as part of the attack action, you're holding a Kinsei weapon, you can use it to defend yourself. So because you have Crossbow Expert, you can walk up to somebody, shoot them with your crossbow, and then punch them with your fist, like we've often seen him do, and then use your crossbow to block their attacks.
Yeah.
And then you get +2 to your AC, so that'll take you to 19. And then you get Kinsei Shot. So when you use a bonus action to make a ranged attack with your Kinsei weapons more deadly, when you do so, any target you hit with a ranged attack using a Kinsei weapon takes an additional D4 damage of the weapon's type. You retain the benefit until the end of the current turn. This is going to be really important with where we take this build in a little bit. And you get proficiency with Calligrapher Supplies or Painter Supplies. So you take the Calligrapher Supplies because you're John Wick, and you don't really care. So now you have two options. If you're playing in a campaign where you know everything you're going to be fighting coming up has resistance to non-magical attacks, take one with the blade so you can make your Kinsei weapons magical. If your DM hasn't given you... You're level 5. I would probably give a player a magic item at this point. I know I have in the current campaign that I'm running.
Right.
And if I haven't, they're getting a magic item like in the next session. I'm talking about little...
You keep saying that, but we miss
them
them every single
You missed
time.
them. Well, okay, you got a laser pistol, and
True.
you're about to find a big axe, but that's spoilers.
Yes, the big axe.
The big axe. So if you don't have a magic item, take magic Kinsei weapons just so you can do that. But I'm gonna assume that you've gotten, like, even if it's not a +1 crossbow, like you just have a magical crossbow, or your artificer friend has given you a crossbow with repeating shot or something, and whatever. That's fine. You don't need repeating shot because your weapon, you don't need to reload crossbows because you took Crossbow Expert.
Yeah.
But we're going to go into the next part of this build, which is equally as important as the monk levels, and we're going to do Ranger.
Ranger.
Ranger. So we're going to multi-class into Ranger, and we're going to take Ranger to level 3, and this is going to give us a couple of things. For starters, this is going to give you an additional proficiency from the Ranger proficiency list. So just go ahead and grab Survival, because I feel like John Wick has Survival.
Yeah.
He's good at not dying. It gives you... We're not going to do... So we have two options here. We either do favorite enemy, humanoids, and then you just pick people, because that's all John Wick fights in the movies. But more realistically, you're probably going to take favorite foe.
Right.
Because you probably won't be using Hunter's Mark a ton in this build. You can. It's a good spell. I recommend you take it. But favorite foe is going to be more useful on those turns when you want to use Flurry of Blows. So we're going to take favorite foe. And we'll go ahead and check that into our passive abilities. And then Natural Explorer, which we're not going to take. Instead, we're going to take Deft Explorer. Because I don't know why you would never not take Deft Explorer.
Yeah.
So the first level one, you just get to pick you get expertise.
Oh yeah.
In survival. Because it's specific to ranger abilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's just a skill proficiency. So we're gonna do expertise and acrobatics.
Yeah. Dope. Monk. Crap.
Yeah, jumping around. And then for fighting style, we're gonna take archery.
Gotta hit.
Which is gonna be important.
You gotta throw that pencil right between the eyes.
Not only the pencil, you also need that for shooting the guy in the stomach with your light crossbow right before you punch him in the face. So we're gonna take archery as our fighting style. And then you get spell casting. There's a bunch of good ranger spells. So let's just go over and take a look at them for just like 1 second. But really, the spells we want Hunter's Mark.
Which, again, I guess we won't be using as much.
We won't be using it as much. It'll be useful for those times where we get the drop on somebody. Or you're tracking. The reason I want Hunter's Mark in this build is so you can toss it on somebody and track them. We're going to take Cure Wounds.
Of course.
Because you need in Cure Wounds. And then there's a couple of good ones. Searing Smite's actually okay. Zephyr Strike is good in a pinch. In case there's that one turn where you really need extra movement.
Right.
So that's a good one to have. Searing Smite. And Ensnaring Strike are really the spells that you want.
Right.
So that's what we're doing for
Actually,
ranger.
has he done a disappear in a fog cloud thing? Like
Oh,
again,
yeah, he actually has in the third movie.
yeah.
That was a big part of the third movie. So let's take fog cloud. um,
If I know anything about fighting cliches,
yeah,
it's
that's
always you disappear in a fog cloud.
so
Might be the
you
one thing I can contribute to this. It's just
um
my knowledge of fighting cliches.
yeah, so primeval awareness spells that you get from the optional feature from Tasha's are kind of trash. So let's just
Mm.
take the standard primeval, and they like speak with animals. Doesn't make sense.
Not for this build, at least.
Not for this build. At least it's a fine spell, but it doesn't work here. So we're just gonna go
Yeah.
ahead and drop the player's handbook primeval awareness in there because that actually makes more sense. Like in that scene in one of the movies where he's being chased on the trains and he like takes a moment and like stops and then he realizes what direction he's being followed from and then he heads in the other direction. That's what I'm thinking of for primeval awareness for this build. So that's why we're just gonna do the player's handbook primeval awareness.
Right.
And then we're ranger level 3. So the most important thing for our John Wick build here, I think this is, other than Monk, I think this is the most important part of this build. The next part of the build we're going to do is optional, and that's a Gloomstalker Ranger.
Gloom for that extra damage.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so really, Disguise Self is super, super useful. Just to help you in like those situations where you're trying not to be noticed. Because
Right.
you've pissed off the mafia somewhere and now they're trying to kill you. So we're going to do Disguise Self. And the big thing here, Umbral Sight is nice.
Just grab a hat and a scarf off someone
Exactly.
passing by.
Is Dread Ambusher. So you get to add your initiative to your wisdom modifier to your initiative rolls. And at the start of your first combat round, you get plus 10 feet of movement. If you take the attack action, you get plus 1 attack. And if the attack hits, it does plus 1d8 damage.
Oh yeah.
So that's what we really care about. And you also get Umbral Sight, which is you gain dark vision. And you are also adept at evading creatures that rely on dark vision. So while in darkness, you are invisible to any creature that relies on dark vision to see you.
Ooh.
Which is really nice for this type of build.
Because everything has dark vision.
Everything is dark vision.
Everything has dark vision.
Everything is dark vision. So that's where we're at with this. So you're taking Crossbow Expert, Hunter's Mark, all that good stuff. We have our primary stat is where we want it. It's an 18. Our AC is a 17. It's a 19 when we need it to be. So we're not going to go to Ranger 4 for an ability score improvement. We're not going to go to Monk 6. And it won't actually let me do it on here, which is aggravating.
No triple multiclass?
We're going to triple multiclass.
And
I'm just going to write this under active abilities because it's not letting me do what I want to do up top. But we're going into Rogue for three levels for now.
For the sneak attack.
For the sneak attack,
things.
exactly. So we're going to
being just relatively unable to be pinned down.
Exactly. So Rogue. So we're going to get Thieves Tools, which is nice. I've actually already had Thieves Tools from my background. So when you multi-class into Rogue, you only get 2 skills. So we are going to go ahead and we're going to grab Insight and Perception.
Didn't we have Insight already from somewhere?
Oh, we already had Insight. You're correct. Thank you for remembering that. So we're going to grab Perception and Deception, and let's do Sleight of Hand.
I mean, you got to take that half off.
You do got to take the hat off that person. And we are going to take Expertise and 1 more skill, so we're going to go ahead and chuck that into Stealth. So we already have, he has a lot of skills at this point, which is pretty cool. I like characters that are good at things, which is why I like this build, because it's kind of busted.
Are we going to take levels in Bard later for Jack of all trades?
No. I seriously considered Whispers Bard, but we're not. We also get Expertise and 1 more skill. So let's go ahead and put that Expertise into Insight. I think. Because he's pretty good at
Insight or Stealth, I guess.
Oh, but we just put Expertise
really
into Stealth.
Yeah.
Or did I say Sleight of... Yeah, let's do Expertise, Stealth, Sleight of Hand, and Acrobatics. So the dex skills.
Oh, yeah.
So we're done with Ranger. So for Rogue, so we get Sneak Attack as one of our first level features. We also get Thieves' Cant, which is definitely a very John Wick thing.
Oh, yeah.
So Rogue...
I wish I had a quote to say, but none are coming to mind.
Thieves' Cant. We get cunning action, which isn't super useful for this build.
Yeah,
Um,
because you're using your bonus action to hit people.
yeah, you're using your bonus action to hit people, and you already get advantage in the first round of combat.
Yeah.
So cunning action is nice. If you really need to get away from somebody, you can use your cunning action.
Well, now you can use your super upgraded monk movement. Are we
You
doing
can,
more
yeah.
monk later?
We are doing more monk. The rest of the build's going to be monk after this.
Then we're
Yeah.
we're set. We're just gonna be too fast to handle all the
Exactly.
time.
Always going to be too fast to handle. So we are going to take rogue to level 3 for now.
Mm.
And we're going to take assassin.
I was almost gonna guess scout.
Scout would work too, but we're doing assassin for this particular build. Just because I know, like, and I know that there's surprise doesn't really work. I'm aware. But the way I usually rule assassin is if you go before somebody and you snuck up on them, you get surprise. And because we're adding our wisdom modifier to initiative, so we're getting +7 to our initiative rolls, we're going to be going first a lot.
Right.
So we get proficiency with the disguise kit and a poisoner's kit, which is whatever. John Wick's not super into poisons, so that's like not the most important thing in the world.
Yeah.
But
although should you not want to, but should you choose to dive into that, maybe poison or defeat would be good.
It is strong. It's just not what I'm after in this build. But what we are after is assassinate.
Oh yeah.
So so it gives you advantage on. So you've already gotten 2 ways to get advantage, which is nice. And in addition, any hit that you would score is a critical hit. So what's really cool about this? So opening round of combat for this character, you run in there. You get to use your you get to shoot your crossbow twice because we took Crossbow Expert, and because Dread Ambusher from Gloomstalker Ranger. So that's 2 attacks. That second attack is going to deal +d8 damage. One of those attacks you're going to get sneak attack off of. So that is going to be at this point +2d6 additional damage. So you've already dealt d8 times 2 and then d8 2d8 plus 2d6 times 2. And then because this isn't limited to finesse weapons. So then your next action is going to be to punch somebody with your fist. And then you're going to use Flurry of Blows as your bonus action.
Oh boy.
And because we have the ranger levels, we get to chuck Favorite Foe on there. So one of those attacks is also going to be doing an additional d4. So you've essentially done d8 times 2. Then you've done 2d8 plus 2d6 times 2. And you might as well throw the d4 in there. And then you're going to do 2d6 times 2, and then 2d6 times 2, and then 2d6 times 2 with all of your punches. So you're going to kill a lot of stuff whenever you get to go first.
Oh, yeah.
So that first turn for this character is going to be brutal and is awesome, and I love it.
Oh, boy.
So now we're going to jump back over to Monk. So we're going to be Monk.
Where are we in progression light now?
We
level
are
9?
level 12.
12.
Because we've done 3 Ranger, 3 Rogue, 6 Monk.
Yes.
Which is going to give us our sharpen one with the blade, which we talked about earlier. Which is a good ability. It's not like game breaking, but it's perfectly fine. And just so you know, guys, I know it looks a little messy right now. We'll organize this before I upload the video. And then our 7th level monk feature, we need to jump back over here. We already have. We also have things to talk about: deflect missiles and key fueled fury.
Key fueled fury.
Key fueled fury, yeah, that's one of those Tasha's things. So at 3rd level, if you spend a key point as part of your action, you can make an attack or an unarmed strike as a bonus action. So it's basically it's similar to Flurry of Blows, only you have the option of using a weapon. We also have Quickened Healing, Extra Attack, Stunning Strike, Focused Aim, which is going to be very, very big in a second, and Evasion. So I'll add all those to the character sheet before I upload it, but those are the big things. And you have Stillness of Mind, which if you've watched John Wick and like when he's being tortured or he's in a really bad spot, he definitely has Stillness of Mind. He also, like, if you've watched those, like, I was thinking he could be fighter because of like second wind, but the quickened healing takes care of that now.
Right.
Slow fall, he's taken some big falls, and not key fueled fury. What's the one I care about? The one I really care about, focused aim. So the potential to turn a hit into a miss is a big deal.
Yes, sorry.
What were you gonna say?
Kept writing it. Dyslexia.
No, that's fine.
I don't have it, but whatever. Continue.
I'm going to continue. Because we are going to take the creme de la creme of ranged feats, and we're going to take sharpshooter.
Yes.
So, just to clarify, we have advantage on attack rolls in the first round of combat. We have, we're going to take -5 to hit, +10 to damage for the 2 crossbow attacks that we get in the first round of combat. We are also getting, because we're getting advantage, we're probably not going to miss because we also have that +2 from archery from ranger, but if we do miss, we can spend key points to turn those hits into misses. Then we're going to flurry of blows as our bonus action, and now we have stunning strike so we can paralyze people. Don't forget that you can interrupt your main action with your bonus action to use flurry of blows. So as soon as you reach the qualification for that, you can interrupt it, flurry of blows, and stunning strike, and then go back to shooting them.
Bam, 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 pew.
Exactly. So you do insane Nova damage in that first round of combat. And like if you were tracking somebody for a while and you could hunter's mark them before the fight, it gets even better.
Yeah, because you're still up for concentration spells with all this.
Yeah, you're still up for concentration spells. And you're insanely fast if you need to get out of combat.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where we're at with the core of the class. And now we're going to go back to Rogue.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just going to go ahead and grab 2 more levels in Rogue, taking us to Rogue 5. So we're going to get another ability score improvement. And our next ability score improvement is going to be used just to max our dexterity to 20.
Nice.
Because more damage is more better. You could also throw Tavern Brawler in here if your DM's not going to let you use a pencil as your monk weapon. But you can just like reflavor it as a dagger, I guess. But pencils are so much more evocative of John Wick for me. So I'm just throwing pencil in there as my monk weapon.
Right.
Because that's just where I'm at with this character at this point. And then, so we're at level 16, so we're just going to go for the rest of this is going to just be to get to Monk 12, which is going to give us 12 key points to fuel all of these super cool abilities. Just so you know, we're now going to get Purity of Body. So you can make yourself immune to disease and poison, and if John Wick got poisoned, I imagined he would push through until he killed whatever.
Just sweat it out.
Just sweat it out, exactly. He would push through until whatever he was hunting, whoever killed his dog was dead, no matter how poisoned he was. So finally, for our final Kinsei feature that we're going to get is Sharpen the Blade. So at 11th level, you gain the ability to augment one of your weapons further with ki. As a bonus action, you can spend up to 3 key points to grant one of your Kinsei weapons that you touch a bonus to attack and damage rolls with it. So you can now...
you can make it a +3 weapon.
You can make it a +3 weapon, which is useful in certain times. It's not like the best ability. Really, the reason we took the rest of these monk levels is to get that the additional key points, because that's really all we care about. We don't really care about anything else in monk. You could have also put them into rogue, but if you were going to put them into rogue, it would only get you to rogue. It would get you to rogue 9, which is nice because you get more sneak attack dice. But the assassin 9th level ability is kind of garbage. So we don't really care about that. So there we go. We have John Wick. Final build for John Wick, for those of you following along at home, is 3 Ranger Gloomstalker, 12 Monk Kinsei, and 5 Rogue Assassin. Basically all the Nova damage in the world. And then even after the Nova damage, because you are still a monk, you still have the ability to hunter's mark people. You have Sharpshooter. So even after that first round of combat, when your Nova burst damage is done, you're still going to be hanging in there with the high level fighters and just putting out consistent damage and utility because you do have stunning strike. So that's our John Wick build. Let us know what you think down below. And we also did Archelos, which was a ton of fun. So if you guys liked these videos, let us know. Like, comment, subscribe, do that whole thing down in the description. Tell Nate that his idea was awesome, because I certainly think his idea was awesome. Come check out our live streams and let us know what builds you want us to do in upcoming videos. I know we both have ideas for what we want to do in upcoming. We have a ton
too
of
many
ideas.
ideas.
This has been 90% of what we talk about off camera now, but we
Yeah.
will definitely be doing more of these videos, whether you guys like it or not, because it's just a ton of fun to make D&D characters.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it. Do you have anything to add, Nate?
I'm gonna take it from you. Don't forget to have fun. Roll dice.
And
I
there
took
we
it from you. Ha!
and there we have it.